Was that loud or my ears still ringing?
Huh?
Huh? Nice, Dave. All right, man.
468 horsepower of fire-breathing Chevrolet.
Nice. Nice work.
This is the 84 Trans Am project. Belongs to a guy by the name of Jeff. Great guy.
Cool, man.
I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. You know, I look at it this way. It costs me a couple $100 every weekend to race, including driving there, the race fuel, the nitrous, all the food I eat, the fuel for my truck to pull it there. I probably spend less than a guy would taking his family to a movie.
That's a fact.
And that's a fact, because it costs over $100 to take a couple of kids and your wife to the movies nowadays. The popcorn's $12 a box.
Yep.
So I can go to the racetrack and actually race my car for the same money that you can take your kids to the movie theater with. So it is what it is.
And it's live theater.
And it's live, yeah. There ain't no Memorex on this one. You could be at the same track from morning to afternoon, and the conditions of the track will change because of the temperature of the air, the amount of precipitation in the air, condensation, and also the amount of pressure, believe it or not, has an effect on how much moisture comes out of the ground.
The ambient air pressure,
right.
atmospheric pressure.
Yeah. So all of those things are a reason why you want to be able to change the gear ratio in a transmission, because in most cases you can't necessarily change the rear end ratio. It's different if you could, change the axle ratio. They used to have quick change rear ends, but I don't think that type of a setup can handle the mounted torque applied to that stuff if you're using that kind of a rear end. So I think that's why they went to the wayside. They couldn't handle the torque. That's my thought process. I could be wrong. I am an awful lot, so you know, it's life in the big city. But anyway, here the shifter that I would use for that Doug Nash 5-speed is called the long shifter. It's made by Liberty, I believe. This is one I picked up online. Normally these are about $700. And what this shifter does is when you pull it all the way up to the top and you push it forward, up here, this is first. Then when you pull it back, it drops down and it rides on this one here on the top, and that brings you to second. Then when you come down and go forward again, it drops all the way right there, and then you push it up, and that's third. Then you come back, and as it falls back down again, it grabs this ramp right here, and that's fourth. And then when you come back to center and it goes back down, it goes to fifth. If you want reverse, you bring it to the center, you push this all the way down and pull it back, and that would be reverse. And that's a long shifter. Well, you can see the little bit rust here. It's an older unit, but the mechanism was in really good shape, and I got a good deal on it.
What's that called?
This is called a vertigate shifter.
Vertigate. How do you spell that?
It's a long vertigate. It's like the word vertical and gate. It's a vertical gate shifter. They call it a vertigate.
Okay. Huh.
And this allows you to shift the transmission back and forth without the older shifter that I have for that is an H pattern shifter. And the problem with that is if you're going 1, 2, then you got to come up, move over, hit 3, and then come down and hit 4. But reverse is right next to fourth. And on that transmission, if you're using an H pattern and you're trying to race, sometimes when you're coming down from third to fourth, if you're holding it over a little bit too far, you'll tag reverse, and that does the transmission in. Then the party's over. Yeah, everybody's unhappy, and the parts guys are trying to find new parts, and that's why that transmission's sitting on the floor, because I had to have it rebuilt from the last time I did exactly that. So now this time around, I'm going to go with this shifter, and it should produce better results. It uses these time joint type pivots on the transmission, so the linkage is a very nice, smooth click,
no
click.
play.
Yeah, there's no play. Everything is all set up real nice and finite, if you will.
Nice. So what's that called again?
That's called a Vertigate shifter. Now, here's the old shifter, the one I was using before.
Vertigate.
That's a Vertigate. Now, this is an H pattern shifter. Now, this here is an H pattern shifter. This is a 6-speed H pattern shifter. And this is what I was telling you before. It requires you to move side to side. You know, you have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reverse. And the problem I had was trying to go from third to fourth when you're driving down the racetrack.
How fast?
Very fast. I was going 1050s at 128 miles an hour. Trying to get this from third to fourth, if you went over too far, you would tag reverse, and that's of course what would do the transmission in. So I'm gonna probably hold on to this in case I decide to put that transmission in a street car. I don't know how well a Vertigate shifter would work in a street car, but otherwise I'll probably sell this Doug Nash 5-speed shifter. I think it's made by Hurst. Yeah, it is. It's a Hurst shifter for a 5-speed.
Does it say Hurst?
It says Hurst right there.
Get it in focus.
Yeah, and you can see.
Focus it. Yep.
And you can see the difference between the rod ends on this setup. There's a little bronze bushing here, as opposed to the Heim joints that are on the
Oh yeah.
And you can see
that
that
wear out after a
right.
while.
Yeah, this stuff wears out. It's all hard. You know, the bushings start to wear, and you can see there's damage on them and stuff from years of. And then you can see the rods themselves start to wear.
Oh yeah.
So Here.
All right.
Now here you go. Here's the gears that are in this transmission and the bearings. Those are the case bearings, and this is a slide, and this is a slide, and you can see the dogs how they're all chewed up right here.
Yep.
That's from trying to grab a gear that went in the wrong direction. Same thing with the dogs on this side. This side ain't so bad.
But give me some information about what you're talking about. Dogs.
These are the dogs that slide the gears. This is a gear. I believe this is reverse gear. And you can see how you can see where it goes into the other gear. You know, if there's another gear on this, it would just slide right in. Click, click. Every time you move the gear, these right here is what these are sliding on. And so they have to dog into each other when you're moving down the track at 100 miles an hour.
Huh.
So when these dogs, see how this one is nice and clean right here? So these are nice and clean. Now look at the ones on the other side. You can see they're all chewed up.
Oh yeah.
See how they're all chewed up?
Yeah.
Same thing with these. See, if they get chewed up like that, then when you go to shift, it doesn't want to go in.
Okay. Huh. And how are these bearings?
These are the bearings that hold the case. So this one here is almost so tight you can't even turn it. You can hear them making noise.
Yep.
That's no good.
Oh,
That's no good.
It's the.
No good. So you want to know what I drive for a daily driver?
Yeah, man.
My
What's your
daily driver is a 1968 Camero with a big block in it.
Okay, scoot over so I can see this.
468 cubic inch big block, tunnel ram, dual quads, drag radials on the back, 12 bolt, posi traction. It's got a turbo 350 with a 2800 stall speed converter, and it's my Friday night special, if you will.
Okay, why do they call these things Friday night specials?
Because you take it out on Friday night and you whip all your buddies' asses with it.
Who did the paint job on this one?
You know what? I have no idea. It was like that when I bought the car. Of course, it was bare. It didn't have any of the emblems on it. Didn't have those wheels. Didn't have any of the chrome on it. Didn't have the hood. Didn't have the tunnel ram. It didn't even have that grill in it. It had a 67 grill in it. It was all beat up. I have the original hood that goes with the paint job, but I didn't want to cut a hole in it, so I took it off and cut a hole in this fiberglass one.
Okay, so I'm going to do a buff on it. We're going to do a buff on it, right? I'm going to buff it out
yeah,
for
we're
you.
going to buff this baby out. And you know what we should do is we should paint the hood with that new sprayer that you've got. that low pressure sprayer, and I'll bet you could.
M3000, man, M3000.
The M3000. I'll bet you that would turn the front of this car.
You want me to paint this thing?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, that's cool. Oh wow. Check out the engine. What's in there, Dave?
This has got a tunnel ram, 468 cubic inch tunnel ram, big block Chevrolet, dual quads.
Ooh.
This is where all the party is going on, right here.
Is this street legal?
Sure it is. All depends on what street you're on.
Holy cow, man. What the hell is going on here? That's not just one carburetor, it's like two carburetors.
There's two 4-barrels underneath there.
Two 4-barrels.
Yeah, two 600 Edelbrock. Actually, those are Carter. Those are Carter Competition Series AFB Carters.
See, this guy knows his engines.
Right?
Right.
Here, now you can hear it. I'll start this bad boy up.
Okay.
I believe it runs. I drove it here this morning, so there's a good possibility that it's going to start.
Okay, that's good.
But you got to know the sequence. You got to hit these two switches, give her a little gas, and turn the key. Wow, run. Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay, Dave, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
That's Dave.